So, just like everybody else, I'm going to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and some of the things that I've been thinking about with it. My voice is a little hoarse, so hopefully my words will be clear enough for everybody to hear. I do mumble a little bit sometimes. But this coronavirus, it seems really unreal to me. It's like a bizarre nightmare. Almost feels like the Twilight Zone, where just nothing's the way it's supposed to be. You're hearing about people fighting over toilet paper, like literally fighting over toilet paper. That's the whole toilet paper thing is so bizarre to me anyway. The memes have been hilarious. But it's one of the things that concerns me is I know China's lying. They're not telling us the truth. They haven't told us the truth right from the beginning. They tried to hide that this was even going on right from the beginning. So they're lying to us, and it almost makes you wonder if conspiracy theory here, if they let this out on purpose. Wouldn't surprise me. They don't have a problem with sacrificing their own Chinese citizens. And they just recently expelled all the American journalists. So that seems fishy to me. They don't want anybody there reporting on stuff. And another thing that bothers me is that this is such an unknown thing so far. We don't have enough data to really have a good grasp on what's coming and what's going to happen. I mean, we know a little bit. I just hope that, in a month or whatever, we're all looking back at this, laughing at how silly we all were, going into self-quarantine and all that kind of stuff. Rather be safe than sorry, though. My mom is immune compromised. She had a double lung transplant several years ago, and she takes anti-rejection medication. She's also got some other things going on, which makes her more susceptible. And so it's for me. I have to act as if it's really a big deal, because I can't be bringing anything home to my mom that because I think it'd be deadly to her. She's one of the ones that would be be deadly. Where I'm at right now, the governor today closed all our bars and restaurants. The restaurants can still do delivery, but the bars and restaurants are all closed. No gatherings of more than 10 people. Got all that stuff going on. The social distancing. I haven't been out around people to really notice too much. But it's, to me, like, I went to Walmart today. I had to pick up a couple of things. And, even if I stay 6 feet or whatever, 8 feet, whatever it is, away from all the other people, I'm still handling things that other people have already handled. Even the items on the shelf, somebody touched those items to put them up on the shelf. So, you go out and you get things that you have to get. And, you're putting yourself at risk no matter kind of what you do. So, I mean, that's concerning to me. And the fact that you don't know that you're sick for so long, like you can be carrying it around for 2-3 weeks, getting everybody around you sick, and you have no idea. I would feel really bad if I had it and was dragging it around to everybody in town. That would upset me. And one of the things, everybody's probably seen all the different pictures and whatnot of all the shelves just being completely wiped out and empty. There's a few things that, toilet paper, obviously, people went for, but they also went for water. And here in Rock County, Wisconsin, there's a family that relies on a special alkaline water for their kids who have a anyway, all the water's gone, including this expensive alkaline water. And the mother, Efizov, Reina Efizov, says she has enough alkaline water to last her young children the next 2 days. Efizov, whose children Ellie 4 and Romy 2 have a rare digestive disorder, doesn't know where to turn. As soon as we went to Walmart, the first thing we saw was no water anywhere. She said, my children's water is about $4 per gallon, so it's never gone. No one ever buys the most expensive kind. Ellie and Romy have a rare disorder called FPIES, or food protein induced enterocolitis syndrome. Because of it, I probably butchered those words. Because of it, they rely on eating formula for almost every meal. The formula only mixes with 2 types of water, Efizov says, Alka 65 and Alkaline 88. Due to a rush on bottled water, she can't find either in stores. Her online her online order has been delayed several times. To try different water could cause either of her children to endure extreme discomfort, including diarrhea and vomiting. In the worst case scenario, it could send them both to the hospital. It hurts to think that I might have to purposely make my kids sick and trial different water just to make sure they can even live, she said. That really kind of hit me. I know people, and I'm not sure why they're getting water. There's plenty of tap water. But hey, we live where there could be tornadoes and summer's coming, so I suppose it's not a bad idea. But the idea that she can't find the water that she needs to keep her kids healthy and not sick, that's kind of disturbing. It makes me think like it's already started, Well, it has already started. People fighting over toilet paper, like physically fighting. And then this alkaline water, like that would be more worth fighting somebody for than toilet paper, I would think. You can't eat toilet paper. And there's other, you run out of toilet paper, there's other options. They're not as convenient as toilet paper, but hey, I think food is more important. But anyway, that's really disturbing that she can't find that water anywhere. And I'm concerned about people that who can't, stock up. They kind of live day to day. And this kind of goes along with what I'm wanting to talk about also is, the effect that this is going to have financially. And people who live day to day, they can't stock up. They only get a little bit of money, and then they get a little bit more money at another time. So they can only kind of just go day to day. It's concerning to me that they won't have any emergency supplies, but I can't do anything about it. It's going to destroy small businesses, even if there's taxes are deferred for a while, and all these give them great loans or whatever. Like, they still have to pay those loans back. It's not like here we're just going to give you some money to fix everything up. So I feel so bad for small businesses, especially because they don't have a lot of money set aside, and like wanting to take care of their workers, or maybe being told by the government that they have to financially, support their workers even if nobody's coming to work. There's tipped workers, waitresses, and waiters, different people like that who rely on tips. And then again, these are people that they live day to day. You know, the paychecks when you're waiting tables, your paycheck is like tiny. It's almost not worth cashing because all your money comes from tips, and so you get, you know, and they're uncertain. You know, you might make $10 one day and 150 the next. Just depends on, you know, the flow of the restaurant and who comes in and whatnot. But you know, people who work just regular 9 to 5s or day laborers, people like that would struggle or maybe not be able to stockpile some emergency supplies. And another thing that so basically what I'm trying to say, I guess, is poor people are going to suffer just because they can't really stock up. They can only buy a little bit of stuff at a time. And so that's going to make it harder for them. You know, each day is what you need going to be there, or is that part of the shelf going to be cleared out? I watch a lot of Tim Pool. He's one of the people that I watch, just to find out, because he finds headlines that I don't see when I'm looking around trying to find headlines and news. And I think a lot of times he has a pretty good take on things. But anyway, he's made a couple videos recently where he says, you know, Trump was right. He was right about China. Like, we have to do something, because this has been a big wake up call. I hope that we need to bring as much of our manufacturing back to the United States as we can. You know, China controls way too much of the things that we need. And, you know, right now we can see that we're in a just screwed position. They've already one time started sending masks over here that are owned by somebody here, I'm guessing, but made over there. And the ship got partway here, and they called it back because they needed those masks for themselves. They make a lot of our medications. That's kind of terrifying. And they've already kind of said, you know, we can keep these away from you. And if they feel like they need the resource for themselves, they're not going to give it to us, even if, you know, it should be coming to us. Based on, you know, who bought it, or, you know, paid for it, or owned the factory, or whatever. So that's, yeah, they just control way too much. Too many supplies and too much junk. We just buy way too much junk, plastic, crappy things that get thrown away in a week. You know, Walmart and the dollar store full of super cheap junk from China. One of the things that I heard just before I started recording this is that there's bipartisan support for the idea of shooting everybody in America a check. Shouldn't have said shooting. Giving everybody in America a check for like $1,000 at least. Just like a stimulus thing. It would be trying to get the economy going, trying to help the stock market rally back up, which I think, I mean, trying to get that back up is a good idea. I have no idea what the long-term consequences of the government just giving everybody $1,000. Like, that'd be a lot of money, especially if they give more than 1,000. But I think it's great that our lawmakers are all coming together and saying, we can't let our citizens down. We have to do something to try to protect them. So, and, and Trump is supporting the idea. So it sounds like if both sides can keep from trying to sneak BS in that doesn't belong there. I heard Nancy Pelosi wanted student loan debt forgiveness or something wrapped up in it. It's like, just leave it alone. But anyway, it sounds like Trump is in favor of it. And they want it to happen like within the next couple of weeks. He said that these payroll tax breaks or whatever that he was talking about are going to take a little while to take any effect, and he wants to see Americans, citizens, being cared for and made sure that they've got what they need beforehand. I've heard that at least some states are saying that if you can't work, because your company's closed or whatever, that for unemployment, generally you have to go a week without working before you can apply for unemployment, and you don't generally get paid for that first week, which, I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. But anyway, at least some of the states, or maybe it's, a national thing. I just totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, I'll probably remember later. This They want to have it done in the next 2 weeks so that it's done quickly. And I'm not sure how they would handle that. That seems like it would be pretty difficult logistically. Maybe not. Maybe they just, find all the social security numbers and send everybody a check who's got an address. I'm not sure. But then there's one of the things I saw is a lot of athletes, professional athletes, and like the guy that is in Shark Tank. His name is just like escaping me at the moment. He owns some sports teams, and they're all donating, different amounts of money, between them to pay the stadium workers, like concession stand people, and the janitorial staff and the maintenance people, all of that, who won't be working because they're not allowing audiences in. And I think that is really awesome. That is just Americans looking out for other Americans, and to me, that's what it should be. That's what it's all about. They're privileged. They've got money. Mark Cuban, that's the guy's name. He's got money. So, like, to just throw $1 million towards it, which I think is what he did, that's huge for the people he's helping, but it's really nothing to him. And it's a donation, so he can probably write it off as, for tax deductions. But anyway, I just thought that was really great that these people who had some money and were able to do it were looking out for people that were really going to be harmed by, the no audience thing and the having to stay away from people. I thought that was brilliant. And I should know those people's names. I should look it up and check it out, just so I can be like, when I talk about it, I can be like, hey, these guys, other than Mark Cuban. But anyway, I see a lot of different things in my neighborhood. There's the Fed did I think it's 0% interest for a while, and people are going crazy trying to refinance their mortgages. I mean, who wouldn't? That's huge to have 0% interest. But the communities are kind of standing up. The schools are still preparing and providing meals, breakfast and lunch. Some places, I think here in the city, it's breakfast and lunch for all the kids, so that, because there are a lot of kids, families that rely on, the free lunches and whatnot at school, to really fill in some of the gaps in their their grocery budget. So, taking the kids out of school and suddenly, they don't have the budget for, lunch at least. So the kids are eating. I'm not sure what kind of meals they are, but even if they're bagged lunches, it's a lunch. I'm sure they got chips and an apple or something in there for them too. But there's people that are stepping up to babysit. Hey, if you got to, work and your kid's at home, and bring them over and they can play with my kid while you're at work, kind of thing. There's the social media site called Nextdoor, which is just, your local neighborhood. And I've seen posts on there of people offering assistance. One person posted that, if you or your kids are hungry, I always make too much, just let me know and, come on over and have something to eat with us. It's neighbors reaching out for each other, and that's just as important and just as big a gesture, I think, as Mark Cuban giving $1 million to help pay the stadium staff. That's both, I think, are really cool gestures. They gave what they could. So I think that's really cool. One thing had noticed also is the Democrats just trying to cause chaos. Like I said, Nancy Pelosi, I guess, tried to say that any bill about these $1,000 checks or whatever would have to include something to do with student loan debt. And it's like, just get out of here. Just leave it alone. You're going to screw everything up. People on both sides agree that this needs to happen. I don't know if everybody on both sides, but there's pretty big bipartisan support for it. They're just, trying to make chaos by putting things in that have nothing to do with it. Just do, what do they call it, a clean bill? Just what you need to do. Everybody, votes on it, it passes, Trump signs it, and ta-da. You leave the other stuff for another day, especially considering this is, like a national emergency, a time of national emergency. So Pelosi used to be my representative. I lived in San Francisco for 6 years, not too long ago. But anyway, while I was there, I had to move across the bay to Oakland because I couldn't stand her. San Francisco is just a hellhole. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about here. And one other thing I wanted to mention, of course, I didn't prepare enough. I don't know the person's name. It was a woman. One of the CNN hosts actually said something along the lines of, Trump is exactly the president we need right now. And man, does that not blow your mind that they're giving him any kind of praise, any kind of support? That, to me, that shows that, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people fighting over stuff, but a lot of things that I'm seeing is, people really trying to help each other out and look out for each other. And to me, that's what America is supposed to be about. If you're hungry, it shouldn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If I've got, some food, I'll share it with you. Yeah, so I'm hopeful that some of this really deep divide between the right and the left, maybe some of that'll heal through this, just because we kind of have to, stick together through this. So anyway, I'm still trying to get the hang of this, doing these talks. A lot of people just come on and just talk. I have notes because I want to make sure that I don't forget all the things that my little brain is concocted beforehand. So anyway, that's some of the things I wanted to talk about with about coronavirus. You know, the schools are all closed around here. Man, my throat. Bars and restaurants. I really feel for this family who can't find the kind of water that they need. Yeah, that's just crazy. It's a virus. It's not a tornado. You shouldn't have to worry about having water on hand. And you shouldn't be taking all of it. You know, get yourself some, but don't take all of it. Save some for your neighbor. Hopefully in a month we're going to be looking back at this and looking at ourselves and thinking, man, were we ridiculous. This just was a little, fizz of nothing here that happened. But I have a feeling that's not what's going to happen. Really concerned about, my mom, but the other people in my family too. They've got some of the risk factors, some other people. I suppose I probably do too. But it's, at least in this day and age, we really know what's going on. Like, as bad as Twitter and Facebook can be, we all kind of know what's coming, and we can all kind of stick together, and it makes it easier to stay in touch with people when you're doing what's it called, social distancing. I can't give you, come see you. I'm supposed to stay away, but hey, let's FaceTime or whatever. So, yep. Hope we're all laughing. Hope we feel foolish. Hope we survive it. I hope it's not the end of the world. I'm sure it's not, but I like to be dramatic sometimes. But stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself, wash your hands, and take care of yourself. Maybe I'll think of something else to do a video on later.